Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting Masters of the Universe, this time a Chronicles, but not just a Chronicles, but a Masters of the Universe movie Chronicles set of action figures. I'm going to go ahead and do two. We've got, of course, the man of the hour, He-Man, and he is looking so dynamic here, looking awesome. Now, I will say that this actor, Nicholas Galitzine, he is looking really good with the hair like that. It's looking like He-Man. Some have said, I've heard the speculation that his stunt double is more muscular than him. Not sure if that's what we're getting here, because this guy looks very ripped, whoever this is in this image. He doesn't look as strong, as hard in the movie from the trailer, but who knows what they'll do. You know, we don't know. But then I've also heard theories that, hey, this is the first He-Man movie. He's just becoming He-Man. He'll get bigger, you know, if there's a sequel. And let's hope and pray there will be a sequel, right? But this is looking really awesome. That Skeletor is looking really cool. You got the power sword coming up here in between them. Kind of a spacey backdrop there. Masters of the Universe Chronicles on the front. A little bit of a varnish, shiny Masters of the Universe Chronicles logo on the top. There's another picture of the actor, Nicholas Galitzine, on the side. And then there's some really good images of him as He-Man on the back, being able to hold that sword aloft perfectly. I mean, just the dynamic poses that this new Chronicles line can get in is just very impressive. You see the other figures that are in this wave, and then check this out. You even have a little write-up about He-Man on the back. If you'd like to pause that and read that now, you certainly can. Then we're going to also look at, we might as well go ahead and break open Man-at-Arms. And this actor is also awesome. I remember when he played Heimdall in Thor, the Thor movie, which he did an excellent job. So I was excited personally about seeing him in this movie as Man-at-Arms. I think he'll be a great pick. There he is, and he's wearing the very iconic looking outfit. You can hear my dog in the background. He's being fed, so don't think we're murdering him. But here's the thing. I wish they had made, even in the movie, the pictures we've seen, I wish they had made this little cup thing under his face and head just a little bit more exaggerated like we've seen. You know, it's almost like just made it low profile, made it almost a non-thing. I don't know. But that's the smallest one we've ever seen on a Man-at-Arms. But I'm just being nitpicky here. But you can see him and Skeletor facing off with the power sword also in between them here. There's another picture of the actor, Idris Elba, here on the side. Idris, I think is how you say it, Elba. And there is, of course, some images of the action figure looking really cool in that backdrop. Some ideas of some of the things he can do in poses and accessories. There again is the other figures in this wave. And then there is a little write-up about Man-at-Arms, heroic master of weapons. So you can pause and read that now if you'd like. But let's go ahead and break open these two awesome Chronicles action figures over here in Eternia and check them out. And let's first take a look at our He-Man and Man-at-Arms from the Masters of the Universe movies accessories. Our He-Man comes with two sets of hands, a set of weapon-holding hands, and a set of balled-up fisted hands. He also comes with a really nice-looking, movie-accurate power sword with a brown handle, looking really nice there. It's not very metallic. Would have liked to have seen it a little bit more metallic, but I love the length and the size of it. Looks really good. And then, of course, he has only one head sculpt. He has a nice harness or chest armor piece. And the loincloth, of course, is not more of like, is not like what we're used to, but it's kind of like the Roman tassel looking loincloth piece that goes around his torso. But I like the belt, and I think it gives him a definitely nice, you know, overall modern look and He-Man look. I do like the fact that they stuck with, I don't know if you call this the Iron Cross, but anyway, the more traditional shape, but then yet it's a little different too. But it is a cross and it's translucent, which I like that. That sets this one apart from the core figures and the vintage, or I should say Origins movie He-Man. But definitely looks cool here. I like that. Like the look of that cross being translucent. That looks really cool. I guess it might be that way in the movie. I think his musculature looks good. I do feel like his knees and thighs are a little scrawny looking, but overall I think he's looking pretty cool. And also, as far as accessories, I'll include the sheath, because just like in the movie, he has this cool looking device type harness part on the back of his chest armor that allows him to sheath his sword. So we'll look at that in just a second. Even the hair looks good back here, so that is really nice as far as his accessories. All right, and then Man-at-Arms comes with 2 sets of hands. He also has a set of weapon holding hands and a set of balled up fisted hands, and then he comes with his handy mace weapon that he is iconically known for. His helmet is non-removable, unfortunately, but he does come with a pistol, and that pistol does peg into a little peg. It's got a hole in the side of it and a peg on his leg, so it pops right out of here like so. As you can see it there, there's no hole there where the trigger is. There is holes in the barrels. There's that little peg I was saying. There is some brown paint apps on the handle itself, of course, with some texture. But yeah, there's a peg on the side of his leg and it'll peg right in. You can see this belt that he's got has seemingly a lot of cool features to it. Love this like wash that they gave the armor, and even looks like he's got some kind of tool on the side of his leg there, his thigh. It almost looks like, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh man, is Man-at-Arms sporting a lightsaber? But no. But then he's got some other kind of like devices attached to his belt. And then his iconic armor. And as I said in the intro, I'm a little disappointed that they underplayed this part here. It usually sticks out further. Not sure exactly why they did that, but even the actor in the movie, it has it that way. So, that is what it is. But I was just going to mention that. But this is definitely that iconic looking side armor on his shoulder that we see a lot of times with those kind of like the raised circles. And so that's true to form. But overall, his colors, his helmet, everything is definitely inspired by the Filmation and the traditional look that we know and love about Man-at-Arms. And now, let's take a look at our He-Man's articulation. Alright, bringing our He-Man on in here. We're going to take a little closer look at him right quick. And again, that translucent cross is so cool. I even like the armor. It almost looks like it's real metal that's framing that cross, and little rivets throughout the chest armor. Even the sheath looks like real metal. This is looking really good from back there, and this lighting right there, that sword, that looks really good, as you can tell. Just the design that's all throughout, even the threading that you can see, the texture looks real leather. His boots look really good. Look at these buckles. Zoomed in here, you can really see the texture and the detail work there. And it's good not to have like too much paint here, because obviously in real life, a non-cartoon version, it would pretty much be plain, brown leather. And I think they execute that well here. Wish there had been less space here, but that's probably going to help with articulation, as we'll look at in just a moment. I did notice in Target, one of the buckles was barely painted here, so be watchful of some QC issues. And I have seen some that looked like it had like a smudge of some kind of paint or frosted look on the cross itself. So there's some things like that. Make sure your eyes are not crossed or weird. But overall, the wash and the hair, the skin tone, the colors that they went with, I think look pretty good. Now, I've seen this guy on Instagram a lot because I was late in the game of getting mine, even though I was trying hard everywhere. It was bombing out, but finally found him at Target. But here's the thing, I've seen this guy every color in the book. It all depends on the lighting and your studio and what kind of camera you use. You're going to see him light skin, you're going to see him darker skin, you're going to see it more of a yellow tan, more of a bronze tan. But this is as close as I could get to the original colors of what you're seeing here. And of course, you know, he can pull that sword out, and I like the way they were showing it on the box, because that was more accurate to the way he did even in the cartoon. If I can get it just right, he was kind of able to hold it aloft like that with his hand, and that looks really good. You can see that, you know, he's pretty much holding it straight up with that hand just the way it needs to go. That looks really good. And so he's, you know, we're going to see how he does in the movie, but I'm assuming he's going to call on the powers of Grayskull. But I know he says, I have the power, but does he say by the power of Grayskull? That's going to be interesting, but they can't show everything, right? But that is so cool. He's looking good. So to go ahead and get to the articulation, looking at this head, he's going to be able to look up that much. Hair's going to hit back here a little bit. He's going to look down all the way. He's going to get excellent head pivot. His neck is on a ball joint as well as his head is on a ball joint. So he's going to get perfectly great, super articulation. And there's the ball that I was telling you about right there. And as you can see, the neck is moving also, full hula hoop, and the head as well. So when you put them the two together, you're going to be able to get some really good, really nice looking poses out of this guy. So good, so awesome. I like even the way they did his eyes. He looks intimidating. He looks like he's getting ready to beat Skeletor into the next dimension. Obviously, he's got 360 ability there at the shoulders. He's going to be able to strike. He's going to be able to strike a T-pose, which looks very good. He has bicep swivel, which is free to roam, and you can see it has really nice shape here compared to what we got with Masterverse. And I know I've shown this in the video that I did with my King Grayskull, but just in case you didn't see it, I do want to show you again. See how in the Masterverse, and I've got a Horde MX head sculpt here on him, but we had some funky looking double jointed biceps, just didn't look quite right, and it cut it off here like a angle, slanted angle, making the bicep not look as authentic or not look as good. But they did correct that here. The elbow looks better in here with this double joint. It's more cohesive, and the bicep is more round and more, I would say, authentic looking. You can see here, of course, that he can get any direction of, you know, we won't have to worry about, does he come with vertical hinges? Does he come with horizontal hinges? You've got a ball joint. So, of course, you're going to be able to have full range of motion that way, or you can turn that ball joint and have full horizontal range also. So either way you turn that, and then yes, even this nice floating, or I should say loose gauntlet is able to slide and hide that joint, which I love. That looks really good. And this looks like what he's going to have in the movie, so that I'm very pleased with that. So you're going to be able to get this sword in any direction that you want and get him to fight. And then look, he even has a small butterfly joint. It kind of looks like they're doing the same thing a little bit like what you see in McFarlane. It's not like a perfect butterfly joint. You have a disc here that's just filling the space more or less, instead of like what we see in Marvel Legends where it's actual hinge going back in there. This is more of just a movement that goes back and forth with a disc that covers up the gap. and you can see that that little disc moves independently. It's not really hinged. So, you know, it is what it is, and it'll even go up and down a little bit. But, you know, still bring his arm forward some, and that's what you're wanting from a butterfly joint. And of course, you have double jointed elbows, which get really good range, a lot better than 90 degrees. So that is excellent. I'm going to move these arms on out of the way here and show you this diaphragm. He's going to be able to crunch forward that much with just the diaphragm. He's going to be able to bend back that much with the diaphragm. He is going to be able to go side to side a little bit. Feels very limited, kind of like King Grayskull did, but he will also turn at the diaphragm. Now, another new articulation point is the ball joint at the hip, the stomach area, the hip. You have here below the navel, so to speak, a ball joint at the waist, and so he's going to not only be able to turn like we've always been able to do with Classics and Masterverse, but now you're going to be able to bend. So when you add the two together, he bends forward that much. When you add the two together, he bends back that much. So that's pretty good. Then when you add the two together with side-to-side motion, he's going to get that also. Go that way and that way. So it's, you know, it's there. It's not super huge range, but it's nice to have that flexibility. And of course, like I said, you're going to be able to turn there. And so when you get it together here, you're going to be able to get some good posability in so many different ways with this guy. All right, moving on to the legs. He will get full splits with the legs. There is still a drop down method, as you can see there, the little gap right there, and then I can push it back up into the socket. And instead of a break here, bravo. Again, I'm so glad they did not do a break, but we still, because of the fact that that's a ball joint going up inside this thigh, you still are able to do a turn at the thigh. So I'm very pleased with that. And then as far as his ability to kick up, he's going to be able to kick up a really good amount. He's going to get a little bit of stride going back there. Has double jointed knees, and again, these knees to me just look a little too thin. Like back down here in his calf area and his thigh area just looks a little thin for a He-Man, in my opinion. The upper body looks pretty good, but the lower body, I don't know, just looks like it's lacking. Can't quite go all the way back and kick his behind or lower back or anything, but still gets a good range. You do have boot cut, which is nice. He's going to be able to go pretty decent range with that toe going down and then also going up. And it is a ball joint, so you're going to be able to turn here at the boot also, or at the foot, I should say, of the boot. And then also you're going to be able to get good rockers either direction with the forward-facing pin, and even better because of the ball joint. So you get a lot of upgraded articulation with this He-Man, and I'm very pleased with that. I think he does a super fabulous job all the way around. Looking really stellar, looking good. Now, I'm not going to go over all of Man-at-Arms articulation, but just a couple of things that we'll look at. All right, so bringing Man-at-Arms on in here, you're going to be able to see that his likeness here, the facial sculpt, looks really good. Looks a lot like the actor. His helmet looks really good. Love that helmet. Looks very Man-at-Arm-esque. Even the back of his armor there looks good. We looked at a belt already. His gauntlets look good. I've already seen some actually adding some paint deco to this armor, and that has looked really good on some of the images I've seen on Instagram. But I must say, I think they did a pretty decent job with this wash and the way it looks already. I'll have to see after I see the movie how close, accurate it is. But so far, it looks really good. His has a little bit of an issue I've noticed, where that little place right there is almost so loose that it just kind of bobbles, that little cover-up piece. See right there? I think you saw it then. it kind of bobbles. I've also had problems with this wanting to pop off, and this is able to pop off right here. You're able to remove all of this with these little buckle places. And I didn't mention on He-Man, but he also has the buckle places here, so you're going to be able to remove his chest armor also, and we'll do that in just a moment. This helmet's non-removable, as I said, but everything else pretty much is. His gauntlets are molded in, though. His gauntlets do not move. The gun does. These are molded in. These are molded in, except he does have boot cut, just like He-Man does. His feet go full tiptoe, go up a really good amount. Also have the ball joint that's able to swivel. He doesn't get as good a rocker as He-Man because of this piece that comes down, the armor piece that comes down, kind of blocks it. You're going to get just a little bit, but really not a lot. He has the drop down method also, just like He-Man, so you're going to be able to kick up a really good amount. He also has the diaphragm. He's going to pretty much go forward about the same amount with both in play, and go backwards about the same amount with both the ball joint at the waist and the diaphragm in play. The arms are going to be the same. The gauntlet armor pieces here do not really block. He still gets a really good range of motion with that double joint. As far as the T-pose, again, these will shift out of the way, so he gets everything just like He-Man for the most part. The only thing is his ankles were not quite as easy to function as He-Man's because of that armor that comes alongside of his ankles. But head does well. Again, full hula hoop with that head pretty much, and with the waist pretty much, and with the head, like I said, ball joint in the head and the neck. So everything is the same, including the ball joints at the wrist. So he's looking excellent. Man-at-Arms is looking really good. I like him. Excited about seeing him in the movie and how this actor Idris Elba plays him, because I know he did excellent in the Thor movies, and I liked him there, and I believe he's going to do equally as well in the He-Man movie, and I think they made a good choice with this actor. I'm looking forward to it. You can see that one kind of jiggling a little bit right there. See how it's doing? It's real loose, these little discs. So I'm glad my He-Man didn't have that problem, and maybe I can get a hold of another Man-at-Arms when they start really hitting the shelves good, and I can get one that doesn't have that jiggle like we're seeing here, because I despise that when I get one like that, McFarlane's as well, but it just moves and jiggles. That little disc or floats very loosely. But other than that, great action figure. And now let's do some comparisons. And here is our movie He-Man, our Chronicles He-Man, next to the Mattel 40th anniversary kind of vintage style He-Man with the larger chest, and they did a vintage style head sculpt, the traditional chest armor there, and this is the retail one, not the 2-pack from the San Diego Comic-Con that had the furry loincloth with the fuzz around the boots as well. But yep, there he is next to him, and of course he definitely towers over this Chronicles He-Man. I would say probably almost a head taller. And then here's our Classics He-Man, and he's a little bit more in scale with him. Trying not to knock him over with a sword, but yeah, head to head, they are looking very similar in height. But definitely the Classics He-Man is more bulky, and of course has the traditional chest armor. He has the sword, traditional, classic style sword, I'll say, and then the shield. Some people have complained that this He-Man didn't come with a shield. Don't know if he's going to be using a shield in the movie, so if he doesn't, then that would make sense. But just think that this He-Man looks really good. I like his overall aesthetic, and this one looks more like a toy almost. This looks a lot like the original vintage, but in a larger 7-inch, 6.5-inch scale with a lot more articulation. But then you have, you can see that this is quote unquote a movie He-Man that's fashioned more after a personality, a person, real person in a movie. Of course, his muscularity may be exaggerated a little bit, but hey, they do the same thing with wrestlers a lot of times. Their action figure looks more muscular than the real person. So, it is what it is. And of course, the loincloth and chest armor are very different. But I think I like it. I hope to see it in the movie and enjoy it and really get a feel for it. But they stay true enough to the original, I guess, source material and the cartoon and, just the whole overall scope of Masters of the Universe lore that, trusting that we'll be able to enjoy all of it, because I think they're pretty close. Then we have over here our Man-at-Arms. You can see the movie Man-at-Arms next to the Masterverse Man-at-Arms here. And that is a Hordak MX head sculpt that I have on him with the removable helmet. But yeah, he's looking really good. And he, again, just like with the He-Man, towers over Man-at-Arms. The Masterverse version does. And that's the new Eternia Masterverse Man-at-Arms with a Hordak MX head sculpt. But that is a Mattel helmet. And really like this. It's interesting that his loincloth, so to speak, is a little bit more like that Roman inspired kind like we see on the new movie He-Man. Whereas here you don't get a furry loincloth at all with your Man-at-Arms. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So they definitely veered away from the whole, I don't know, he's looking more techno and just got away from that signature loincloth on everybody, even the women, kind of thing. So it makes sense. I mean, not going to fault him for that. But yeah, this Man-at-Arms definitely looks like a Man-at-Arms if you brought the toy and the cartoon into the real world. So I like what they've done. I definitely think that this is more convincing and more quality looking, or maybe the word I'm looking for is authentic, than what we saw in the 87 movie. That Man-at-Arms was just, I don't know, corny looking with his armor. I don't know. I guess they didn't have the skill back then to do like they do today. So, they've come a long way in the movies. And then here's our Man-at-Arms in classics form. And again, they're a little bit more equal in height. Looks like that the classics Man-at-Arms is a little taller. But, and of course the classics was rich with detail and a lot of cool form. But almost the color here of this Man-at-Arms and the movie Man-at-Arms a little bit more similar in the green department. So that's interesting to note. But yeah, just a really, really cool overall just shape and theme of this Man-at-Arms, I think. Really good. And here's our movie Chronicles He-Man next to Frank Frazetta's Conan and Mythic Legion's Atlas here alongside of the movie Man-at-Arms. So you can definitely see there is a big difference in these lines. And here is our movie He-Man and Man-at-Arms next to some Savage Crucible figures. The Warrior with Ball and Chain here on the left, and in the middle here we have Who-Man. So you can see how they measure up. And you can see how the new Eternia Teela just towers over both of these guys. She's definitely tall. That is a Hordak MX head sculpt. But if you use the Origins Teela, the cartoon collection one that had, I think, a pretty realistic face, she looks like a midget. So that doesn't work. And then if we pull out the Classics Teela, she also is taller than both of them. It looks bigger, like the head and everything. So that just doesn't work either. So we're definitely going to have to wait for the movie Teela to come out to really have a Teela to match up with these figures. And just for fun, here is the movie He-Man and movie Man-at-Arms next to my Kick Bash Mundo He-Man. I took off his 2000X chest armor and put on a Origins Stranger Things He-Man because it's shiny and I like that. And then I put the head from the the vintage classic head on there, and then he's sporting that real metal sword. So that I love that cool looking He-Man here, and that head sculpt matches the skin tone perfectly here. But yeah, he pretty much towers over this movie He-Man, also much bigger. But I just love the overall aesthetics of the Mundo 1/12 scale He-Man. You can check out my review of him. And here's a comparison of our movie He-Man and movie Man-at-Arms with our other Chronicles action figure. This is from Mattel Creations, King Grayskull. And he is looking good here alongside of He-Man. They pretty much seem to have the same exact body, the torso, especially the abs, the legs, and the arms seem to be very, very similar, almost identical, if not identical. But there you have that comparison as well. And thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. It has been epic checking out these two movie action figures, our movie He-Man and our movie Man-at-Arms. And please come back and see us again soon. If you've not done so, subscribe to this channel because it is mostly Masters of the Universe stuff. And you can definitely like if you've enjoyed this video, and comment if you have something to say. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Be blessed.